Ladies and gentlemen, Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 is dead. That's not to say that important reforms haven't been happening. They absolutely have. Saudi Arabia's vicious religious police has been neutered. And though it's easy to mock the slow pace of progress, the status of women in Saudi Arabia is absolutely better than it was just 5 years ago. These things are important. But they are not the point of Vision 2030. These reforms were meant to be means to bring about a very concrete goal. And that goal is dead. Vision 2030 has a website, and it's got pillars and themes and goals for days. It talks a lot about Saudi Arabia's strengths, but at its center is a very sensible consciousness of Saudi weakness. Saudi Arabia is a petrostate, and 70 years of attempts at diversification have all failed. Vision 2030 was an overdue acknowledgement that diversifying the Saudi economy was going to take more than building another city. It required an opening up to the world. If Saudi Arabia was going to be a hub for investment, it had to be a better place with competitive industries outside of resource extraction. Winning outside investment for the Saudi economy was the whole point of Vision 2030. It's now becoming clear that this effort to win outside investment for Saudi Arabia has failed completely. The good things that Saudi Crown Prince MBS does are far outweighed by the fact that he keeps doing crazy things that scare investors away from the country. Foreign direct investment has plummeted from a figure of $7.4 billion in 2016 to just $1.4 billion in 2017. And the money that is already in the country is running away as fast as it can. Capital flight amounted to $80 billion in 2017, and it's projected to amount to $65 billion in 2018, even though MBS is acting more and more violently to keep money in the country. If you only hear about MBS in U.S. media, this picture may be surprising. For the past 3 years, he has had the best public relations money can buy, from New York Times columnists to U.S. presidents. All of this can't cover up for the crazy things MBS keeps doing, however. His war in Yemen has been a catastrophic failure. Almost no progress has been made against the Houthis in Yemen, and Saudi cities are now regularly subjected to richly deserved missile attacks. In November 2017, MBS arrested many of the kingdom's richest and most powerful people, making the kind of insecurity investors can expect very clear. He also briefly kidnapped the Prime Minister of Lebanon that month. In August of this year, MBS launched a diplomatic crisis with Canada, making it clear that Saudi Arabia is incapable of playing nicely with the most polite and boring country in the world. And it now looks increasingly likely that the Saudis kidnapped and possibly assassinated a Washington Post journalist last week. Why would anybody invest in a country like Mohammed bin Salman's Saudi Arabia? They'd have to be crazy. And that's a real problem because Vision 2030 is completely reliant on outside investment. I've said over and over again that without foreign money, these mega projects are simply not going to get built, which now means that these mega projects are not getting built. The Aramco IPO is now paused. It will never be restarted. Just last week, we learned that the $200 billion solar field Saudi Arabia was going to build with SoftBank is never happening. Neom, the supposed $500 billion megacity, has already lost the foreign leadership that was going to find all that money. Neom's great future already looks like a mirage. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 is already being forgotten. Like the King Abdullah Economic City and many other projects before it, Vision 2030 is something that we'll just stop hearing about over the next couple years. Because of the spike in oil prices we've seen over the past year or so, Saudi Arabia will probably get away with this in the short term. In the long term, it will not. A couple of years from now, when the post-MBS Saudi Arabian leadership tries to pitch us on another grand reform program, let's all remember what happened to Vision 2030. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and please tap the bell next to the subscribe button to get notifications for each new video I publish.